everybody, and welcome to another webinar posted by Comeback King Enterprises. And we are the sponsor of the Summit Series, From Heartbreak to Healing, Pathways to Extraordinary Love After Divorce. And this webinar tonight is going to be something that says divorced. You don't need to heal by pretending nothing happened. You don't heal. Can't hardly read, right? You don't heal by pretending nothing happened. How many of us out there are walking around suffering in silence, still trapped, still stuck in that painful emotional state? I know what that's like. I've been there. Not sure who to talk to, not sure what's a safe place. So you keep it all inside and you can pretend like everything is okay, right? Listen, you don't heal by pretending nothing happened. Denial is rough. Justification and rationalizations are things that we can use to keep us stuck, right? You heal by, oh man, listen to me. You heal by letting yourself. You heal by letting yourself feel it. And then you can begin to process it, right? So you're in for a treat tonight. And by the way, my name is Jeff Tyson, affectionately known as the Comeback King, the founder of Comeback King Enterprises. And we are excited to be able to bring this information to you. Some information in the description that talks about it. If you're still, like I said, still carrying the load, still pretending like everything is okay, and not sure how to move on, or you're moving on and you're struggling with some steps, or man, you just like, man, you're just hanging out there, then I want you to be encouraged by what I'm about to tell you. Then this potentially what we're going to talk to you about, in the next 45 minutes or so, can be a new beginning for you. And after this conversation we're going to have this, because you're going to pop in the chat and drop the information. You're going to participate with me because there's some things I'm going to need you to do as we go through this magnificent webinar. And let me see if we can find it for you, because I know we're a little late tonight, but you guys are in for a treat. I can tell you that. So let me pull this thing up for you here now. And let's get started. So remember, when was the last time you looked in the mirror? I want you to remember this. And you really looked at yourself, looking back at yourself. And you really engaged with the eyeballs. The eyes are the windows to the soul. We talk about that a lot. When was the last time you really looked into the mirror? Right? You had that mirror moment. You know, that one where like, oh man, hey, nice to see you. Or man, the one that's telling you that, hey, you may think things are good, but you're struggling. You're having a hard time getting by. Sooner or later, something's got to change. If nothing changes, something's going to change, right? So I want to talk about 3-step challenge to start your healing journey. But before we do that, and this is where I need your help. Before we do that, though, I got to ask you a series of questions, and please be as honest as possible. And if the questions offend you, I'll tell you up front, I'm sorry, but listen, this is a serious thing we're talking about. And I'm the kind of person that doesn't sugarcoat things. I don't blow smoke your way. I don't paint any pretty pictures. I just kind of tell it like it is. And then we kind of go from there. So if we're in agreement with that, then hang in here with me. Right? So we already know what we're talking about. I already told you who I am and who's sponsoring this thing. So let's get busy. And again, you guys got to help me out. Okay. So here we go. Who's this for? Now, I kind of highlighted it already, but high performing men. And we're also talking to the women now too, right? Who look strong on the outside, but feel heavy on the inside, walking with that burden, still carrying the weight. I haven't been able to let things go. I haven't been able to reset yet. Leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, non-business owners, right? You're just getting started. Whoever's been through this situation in divorce and you're still carrying the weight, you haven't been able to get free, right? Men or women who are tired of the stinking thinking, right? And ready for the healing, the real healing to start. Tired of this stinking thinking. You know that stinking thinking. It keeps reminding you of all the mistakes you made. It keeps reminding you of no one's going to be like the person that you had. And he's going to remind you that all the things that you've been through, just going, no reason for you to think about having any other relationship with anybody else. And it just keeps on and on and on. That kind of stinking thinking, right? But it's a healing structure right? Because things can change, but you have to have some framework around how you do that, right? Anyone who wants to stop living, I always call it the dressed up garbage can. You know, pretending everything is fine, shiny on. Oh, you know how it is. You got all the things, you know, on the outside, material things, business booming, job is killing you, killing the job. You know, you had toys, cars, travel, ladies, jewelry, whatever you might have to fill that painful void that's not been filled yet. So that's kind of who it's for. So if any of that resonates with you, or if you know of somebody, we all have some friends that are walking around suffering in silence, and we just don't know how to reach them. Just make sure you drop a name or send this information to them, right? So let me start with a simple question, though. When was the last time? Well, I don't know how simple the question is, but one question I want to ask you. When was the last time you told yourself the truth about how you're feeling and how things are going? With no mask, right? No muscle, no I'm in shape, I got this six pack, whatever, everything like that. No disguises. No, I'm good. How many times I remember saying that? Just, this is what I'm really feeling. How many times have you got to that? This is what I'm really feeling. Are you able to even say that? Are you feeling safe enough to say that? Hey, a lot of times it's not the easy thing to do because you don't have a safe environment. You don't have anybody you can trust. That mirror, the mirror never lies and it never talks. Oh, what was that movie? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest? Oh, I guess in that case, yes. You guys know what I'm talking about. Find some spot in your home, in your car, somewhere. Talk about how you're really feeling, right? Let me start with that simple question. Answer that question. In order to heal, I need to, and here's another one. In order to heal, I need to, and then drop in the chat what you think is this for you. Now read with me. We've got some things and you're like, man, Jeff, really? Be stronger because you've already done that. I know that hasn't worked for you. Work harder, right? Now, same kind of situation. These are all things that, you know, probably are identifying what you've been doing and how you've been feeling, and it's not really worked for you. Ignoring the pain, there's only so much of that you can do. Man, you know, I got to tell you, you know, I felt like I could just, well, let me just say this. Think about the question. In order to heal, I need to. Because what I'm saying to you are things that you're already doing. All right. Pray more. Yes, most definitely. Do more of that. But then you got to surrender when that happens, right? Stay busy. You know, we don't, that doesn't work. Yeah, man up, etc. Lady up, whatever it is. No, I mean, so I need you to really think about what you want to put in there. In order to heal, I need to. And don't just stop with one thing. If you already know what it is and you've tried it and it's not worked, don't be discouraged. If you already know what it is and you think you know what it is, but you're afraid to step into a new spot because familiar pain is greater than new, the unknown. So we stay stuck in that pain. I did, right? Listen, you'll find out here in a minute I do qualify, and I know that it's important that we connect in that space, right? So I want you to hear me when I say this. In order to heal, I need to, and please, please, please fill that out. It's important, man. If you don't do some work, look, there's some things around this whole process, right? Around being honest about your situation, being open-minded about the possibilities that you really are out of control, that you really don't have this thing figured out, and you're going to end up really hurting yourself if you're not careful. And then being willing to do something different. All right, that could be you. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. So what do we have here? We have, while that may be true, healing really comes from trying harder. What praying may be true, but healing, all those things, right? The healing really comes from trying harder. Whatever you wrote down, please be sure to share it with me. I'd like to hear it. Most men don't need more willpower. Men need a new framework, men or women. This new framework around how we are approaching this thing, how we're responding, how it's lining up with everything else that we have, right? Today, I'm giving you a mirror moment that helps you see the pattern. Oh man, because sometimes we can't see. We're too into the frame to see what's going on, right? And we've already probably alienated ourselves from our friends and relatives, anybody that cares about us, because we don't want to do anything, we don't want to change. Right? So we're doing what we think is right. We're doing that rehearsal thing. We're repeating things over and over again, getting the same results. Men and women need a new framework, something simple that after you try it, you'll find some relief. After you try it, you'll have some more confidence. After you attempt it, you realize that maybe there is a possibility that things will change and they will change quickly, quicker than you think, right? So today I'm giving you a mirror moment that helps you see the patterns. Talked about that, right? The loops from the result to the pattern. You're in that vicious loop, right? Around and around, in a state of insanity, and the rebuild, the comeback, right? So patterns, breaking the loop, and the rebuilding, the comeback, right? I have another question to ask you. I told you at the beginning I want to do that, but I need these questions are designed for you can kind of talk to me. Show me what's going on. Let me know what's going on. You can think about it if you don't want to talk to me about it. Right. So let me ask you another one. If I could help you find peace in your life, peace in your spirit, peace in your heart, your mental peace, right? When you want a simple way to protect it and keep it. Remember we talked about the framework, right? The new framework and alignment, right? Think about that question. This point, I just want you to read this before I say anything around it, right? I know you can see it, I can see it. Success won't heal what you refuse to face. I always like to say you can't heal what you don't reveal, right? You can't heal what you don't peel. Right? That mask, gotta take it off, man. Right? You can think about it all you want to, but at the end of the day, nothing changes if nothing changes on the inside, baby. Right? It's an inside job, man. I hate to tell you that, but you already know that. But it's an inside job. But it's so possible. It's possible to do this thing, right? Man, and one promise I can tell you, I can make to you is this. You don't have to stay where you are, and there is a way to do it. And it doesn't have to be long and painful, right? Because you're built to lead, and here's success won't heal what you refuse to face. And here's why we stand in this space. We're gonna refuse. We're built differently. We're wired differently. I was raised as a little boys don't cry, right? You out playing with your friends, and your friend hits you in the face with a baseball bat, and your eyes hanging out in your hand, and you're talking to your parents, and you're sniveling and bawling, and they're like, "Oh, what are you crying for?" Ha! That didn't hurt, right? And so you learn to man up. You learn to protect yourself and others. You learn to provide, and still trying to be emotionally whole. I never did figure that out as a child. It took a while, right? Healing isn't soft though, man. This is what you should get excited about. The reality is of it today, and really, this is being evident from the high level CEOs all the way down. They're starting to understand the power of vulnerability. They're starting to understand that being authentic and vulnerable shows power, man. So listen, healing isn't a soft thing. When you hear the word, it's not a sissified thing. It's not about that at all, man. Healing is healthy. Say that again. Healing is healthy. Write that in the comments. Write that down. Healing is healthy. Right? It's not soft. It's a true sign of leadership. That's the real hit. I mean, leadership, guys. We all are leaders. People say, well, I'm not a leader. I don't lead people. Well, you lead yourself. So every one of us are leaders. If nothing else, leaders of ourselves. And I want to remind you that, right? That should get you pretty excited because you're probably a better boss than the boss you're working for when you're bossing yourself. But I got to ask this question. You know what I'm going to ask you to, right? It's about when you look at your leadership ability so far and you've been trying to fix things on your own, how's that working for you? Your comeback isn't just personal. It explains who you are. It's about your purpose, right? Your comeback isn't just personal. Explain your purpose, right? And so much talk around purpose, so much chatter around purpose, man. But are you really willing to do some work to find out what your true purpose is, right? I'll tell you something. When these difficult situations and painful situations, if you can stand in it and you can keep moving forward and you can become honest about your situation and your part in it, open minded about the possibilities of some change and being willing to do the work, chances are you're going to find yourself in a better space. You're going to find yourself in a better space quicker than you thought. Right? No magic wand am I trying to pretend I'm waving at you. I can tell you from my own experience that once we get that realignment set, oh man, all bets are off, baby. All right, so let's keep moving. Here we go. I think I may have asked you at the beginning of this whole webinar if it's okay if I can ask you some things that you might feel like they sting a little bit, right? Well, it's important because you need to know that's how I operate, right? You can't out achieve what you won't heal. Can't out achieve it. You can work yourself to the bone and you won't achieve it. You can't out achieve unhealed pain. It just is not possible. I mean, you can pour things on you and around you and all that, but you can't deny the spirit, baby. Sooner or later, something's gonna give. Performance becomes a mask, truly all mask, and you lose yourself, you lose your soul, you lose your direction. Silence becomes a prison because eventually you'll keep everything inside. Everything that happens, you're gonna just put it in that prison, lock the door, and almost throw away the key. But I don't want you to throw away the key, man. Do not throw away the key. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. There's an opportunity. Do not throw away the key. The prison doesn't have to be the rest of your life. Okay? So when you stop in here and you drop it in, make sure you drop your information if you want to have some more conversation around that, because I see people coming in and out. So listen, performance becomes a mask, silence becomes a prison. If you're honest, now here's the piece. Why do you think I've been talking about honesty? If you're honest, you've been carrying things. You've never, you've never processed. If you're honest, you've been carrying things. So you never. I talked to you. I told you about getting hit in the eye with a baseball bat when I was a little boy. I never really dealt with the fact that I was embarrassed. My friends picked on me, and they beat me up for being a baby and a crybaby. All that stuff. I never. That's just one of many that experiences that I learned to stuff. Right, not feeling good enough, not liking myself, right? Even when I've had, some success as an athlete and growing up, and I was going from the ugly duckling, right, to the local neighborhood track and football sports star, right, and all that. But the message, the experiences, and the pain, as I talked to you about here, never got processed. So I just carried that with me. So you out there, ladies or gentlemen, who have not solved some of these other things, don't you think it's time to do something about that? Look, here's my aha moment because I had one. Like I told you before, I was really in this thing about trying to save the marriage, and I really, because it was a good marriage. It was a great marriage, and I made some mistakes, and things happened and blew it up, and right, I never thought it would, and so here we are today, right? And it's over been 20 years ago, and things have changed, man. There's been a whole lot of great things that have happened, just like it's going to happen for you, right? It's just the same that's going to happen for you. Trust me on that. My aha moment was I flipped when I said, okay, I got to. I can't keep following these patterns that I'm doing. I can't keep putting myself in emotional jeopardy. I can't keep putting myself in spots where I already know the answer to. And pretty soon you start compromising yourself and your feelings and all that happens around you, right? I mean, it's not a good thing, man. It's not a good look. So when I tell you about flipping the switch, man, that's a real thing. You guys need to know that. I had to stop was my image first. Right? I no longer could I pretend anymore. No longer, ooh, that I could hold back the tears. No longer did I tell myself it'll be okay. I don't need any help. Right? Not grind first. Took the foot off the gas on the grind. I had to put healing first. Right? And I didn't know how to do that because I had been grinding and putting on the mask, all my life. I had learned some things along the way that helped prepare me for the divorce that I'm going through, that I went through, right? So and I'm sure you'll have to. I'm not the only one because when the inside gets healthy, I point out that when the inside gets healthy, leadership gets lighter. Running your life for you, gets lighter. It's easier for you to control. It's easier for you to do some things that make a difference. So I encourage you, man. Listen, the mirror moment is a starting point, and it's really simple, but it's powerful, right? And if you do it, oh man, my promise is you're gonna find some relief right away, right? Oh man, I'm not talking mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? No, I ain't talking about that. Just some self-reflection. Powerful, powerful, right? The mirror moment is a starting point. All right, guys. So let's keep rolling. And any questions you have, just kind of drop them in the comment section. This is where your comeback becomes real. They call me the comeback king because over the lifetime, there's been things like many of you have gone through, where I've helped myself to overcome and then learn to help others with this comeback thing, right? When comeback becomes real, this is where your comeback becomes real. I've watched men transform when they stopped hiding and started using a new framework. Men and women transform, right? I call it the mirror moment. And there's three things, right? It's ARR. First one is powerful, powerful, powerful because become aware. Our awareness is key. We can be in denial, and like I said before, when you're in the frame, it's hard to see the picture, right? So you're in this thing, becoming aware of, and there's a series of things we look at in that space, right? And then releasing that grip that's got you in an insanity grip, right? That you're trying to stop, but you can't stop. You're trying to do something different, but you end up doing the same thing, and you just repeat it over and over and over again, right? So we go back to what I was talking about earlier about the framework. We rebuild the framework around how you do your life every day, right? So awareness and really looking at that, breaking that down, release and rebuild. Man, because I've been in this leadership and human development space for over 45 years, man. And I work with men and women off the radar in this particular space. Real estate and other things, yeah, but in this space, it's like, hey, it's private, it's safe. Right? And at that time, I didn't really realize that was my true calling, and it's come in here and help folks understand the power of the comeback lifestyle and the possibilities and the conditions that we have to put ourselves around and in so we can stay on top of our game, right? Men who don't talk, men who don't post, women who don't talk and post and don't share, but carry a lot. What are you carrying? Are you tired, sick and tired of carrying what you've been carrying and just not sure what happens if you let it go? I know I was, right? I told you, it was a lot of lonely nights, a lot of nights where there was a lot of despair, and there was times when I'm like, man, what did I do, right? I mean, there were people, extended family hurt. It was just bad, man. A lot of emotion, unhealed emotion, a lot of stuff, man. So wherever you are in your journey in this space, right? I just think it's time maybe to do something different. Look at the possibilities of change, right? See, look, I told you about being in this space, and I've seen what works, And so we created, this is really important, we've created a safe space, right, that's built off of the truth and a framework that supports it. Right, you have to have some level of everybody knows what framework is, so I'm not going to go into what all that is, but you know you got to have something that works. It kind of keeps you in alignment, right? Because then you are able to bounce back and forth from that crazy space, because it's, you're still going to have a tendency to slide over there back to alignment versus just running it on your own. Think you got it figured out. Now, I always like to ask people, how's that working for you? So I've seen what works. So we create a safe space, truth, and some framework, man. So here we go. And like I told you, 3 simple things. When we're going through this, so we're moving along well, so time is going good. But here's the thing, the mirror moment, right? The Eminem. Ha! Tim MM, right? The mirror moment. First one. There's 3 of them, obviously, you can see that. But here's what I've been talking about most of the time, about facing the mirror, man. Right? You saw, Jeff, man, really? You got talking to me? Yes, I'm talking to you about that. Because that's a private space. You close the door. You got kids, around, people around. I was going to say something, but I don't know. But anyway, that mirror moment, right? And then we start to talk about naming the patterns. And you grab your pen and your paper and you start looking at, because you're aware now that you've played a part in this. You surrendered to the fact that it's her fault or his fault, and you got your part in it, how you played your role in it, right? So name the pattern, and then what the trigger is, right? What is it that sends you down that road of pain? What's it that sends you back down that to bump your head one more time? What is it that just won't let you get free? Right. So you got the patterns, you got the trigger somewhere, and you're off to the races, right? And then the story you keep rehearsing. And I've pretty much been talking about the story you've been rehearsing. You guys have heard me, right? The insanity about doing things you said you were never going to do, and you do it again the next day, compromising your integrity by responding based off of the denial and thinking things are still going to come back together. So you put yourself in situations that aren't good for you, and you keep rehearsing it. Yeah, man. You talk about life in the movies all the time, right? We are the actors in our own lives. We are the star and the fill in the blank for what else that might be. Put it in there, right? Put it in there, man. So face the mirror, and that's where the awareness begins to grow, right? And then number 2, then we start, and you can do this, right? Right, this look, separate the shame from the truth. Right? Shame something we create, right? The truth, you're still a good person. You made a mistake. The consequences of your mistake cause these things. These are the truths. You may have been dishonest, right? But you don't have to be shameful about that. You may have been. And fill it out. How were you? Really? Because I want you to really understand that you got to figure out how to get your own piece in this game and stop pointing the finger. Forgive from that, right? And there's a whole series around how you can forgive and learn how to forgive yourself. And guess what? Until you can do that, you won't be able to forgive anybody else. So, but when you can look at the shame as not being a reality for you, you made a mistake, you made a bad choice, or you were the recipient of someone that made a mistake or a bad choice. And then you're mad because you could have seen it coming, or whatever the reason why you might be telling yourself all this stuff, right? So shame, you forgive yourself. And then grieve, babe. Stand in the grieving process. I mean, there's 5 or 6 levels of grieving, man. And it goes back to what I was talking about earlier about seeing these comebacks in our lives as a lifestyle, and knowing that whatever comes along is difficult is part of that comeback process. And we are equipped, right? We are able, we can get through this thing as long as we don't give up, right? The more releasing of the problem, the better we are, right? So let go of the old script, and we help you do that. I help you do that. Man, whoo. I had a long script too. I've been sharing a little bit about my script to you as we've been going along, right? I don't want to get too far off into it because we'll be here all night. This is just a short conversation webinar that we're talking about. And this is the big piece: build the comeback. Build your own comeback, man. Rebuilding processes and with the framework, right, that we've been talking about, and the idea that it's your responsibility and you don't have to do it alone. Install identity, a new identity. No longer that person is full of shame. No longer that person is carrying a lot of guilt. No longer just kicking your butt. I have a friend, and he helps me spiritually, and he tells me all the time, Jeff, put down the bat, right? Put the bat down. You know that bat you beat yourself over the head with? Yeah, that one. Put that one down, man. Okay. So where we at? Boundaries. Oh boy, the big word, B, boundaries. Help you reset boundaries for your own protection. Guard you against yourself, man. Right? Because you have to put some time in and ease in the separation. But boundaries help, right? Identify new identity, new boundaries, and some daily practices that stick. And then what do you do the next day? You do the same thing. 1, 2, and 3. Throughout the day, 1, 2, and 3. Man, all I can tell you is if you truly are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you've tried other things and you're still talking to me, there's something to that. Or you're hearing this recording and you want to get a hold of me, we can certainly, there'll be information on how you can do that. But stop suffering in silence. Put down the low. You don't have to carry it anymore. Put that back down. So, as we wind this thing down, a few more questions, and I guess one of them is: has this been valuable? Right? Has the mirror moment, the simplicity of it, been valuable? Type mirror in the chat. This is hitting home. Or if you're hearing the recording, DM me. I believe I had the calendar link in there. It may not, but I'm reachable. Facebook, DM me. Okay, because this was less. This says an hour, man. I mean, we used to spend that long, but really, the time that we spent, has it been worth it? And if it is, want to join me for 90 minutes, breaking down the 5 A's to the peace. When we talked about peace at the beginning, right? Finally giving you some peace. And it's 5 A's. I'm gonna talk about that in just a minute. What those 5 A's are, right? I think it's time we take that next step. So anyway, so I want to introduce you to something that we're really excited about and things that has been a culmination of things over the years, right? The Magnificent Comeback. It's a 90-minute live workshop, virtual live. I guess that's the same workshop. We go over the 5 A's and we'll talk about those step by step, right? With prompts, we give you some things that you can use. I mean, you got to do some work and participate. But look, here's what happens when you take notes, when you participate, you learn more, you get immersed in some things, and then you can begin to shift a lot quicker, right? Man. Boy, if somebody came up with me back in the day when I was in the space where I didn't know what I was going to do and I had this information, I would be grateful because I know it works. Ha! You just met me, you may not know that, but it works, right? So 5 A's, step-by-step coaching with the prompts, a 30-day comeback map, right? So we're going to be connected for 30 days and we're going to look at the map, and that map's going to be following the 5 A's and kind of charting taking some time, figuring out where you've been, where you're going, how many times you've slipped back or where you've been. So the maps are there, right? Identity. Look at the identity, right? Man. I knew I was looking for a new identity. I had to because I didn't like the one I had created in my head about myself. You're a cheater. How can you do that? Inconsiderate, all those things, weak, all that, man. And boundaries help you truly set up some simple boundaries. And I'm sure that these may not be the first time you've done this, but hey, sometimes it's necessary to reset in those areas, and then some daily practices. Right? Remember, I told you from the beginning, this is, you got to be open minded and willing to do some work, some things to be different. I'd like to tell you, that you don't have to, but it's not going to be that way, man. If you're looking for that kind of person, then you got the wrong guy. But I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm not going to blow smoke. I told you, I'm not going to create a pink cloud about how fantastic it's going to be. It's still going to hurt. You're still going to miss him or her. And you're still going to have questions about who you are and all the self-loathing that goes along with the grieving process. Remember, it is a grieving process in that too. And that's the human side. So why fight it? The quicker you grieve, the quicker you relieve. I'll say that one more time. The quicker you grieve, the quicker you relieve. You relieve yourself from all the pain, the disappointments, all this thinking that's running in your head that you can't get away from. The shame and the guilt, all that, right? And daily practice. So includes a mirror moment worksheet along with everything else. So you get all this conversation. We're gonna have a worksheet that we can kind of use as mapping it out, right? And it's simple worksheet. Look, I ain't gonna do your homework. Well, I know you're all busy, right? But something that just kind of you can carry it with you, put it on your phone, man, and you can just begin to create that new identity, begin to reset that pattern that's necessary for you to line yourself up with mind, body, and spirit, right? So you can begin to focus on moving your body in the right direction and where your energy goes, your emotions flow. It's a good thing, right? So worksheet and king thinking prompts, king and queen thinking prompts. We like to create our own prompts. We'll give ourselves something that not just motivates. I don't want you to be motivated today. I'm not trying to motivate you, and I didn't. I kept it as real as I could, right? I'm looking for transformation, right? If you're looking for transformation, then we're looking for the same thing, right? So my attempt is to help transform you, to help you step into a different state of mind, to realign yourself with new boundaries and daily practices. So this workshop is normally $19.97. We dropped a one on there. I apologize for that. So now we're doing it for $147. And I'm like, man, because usually it takes 90 minutes, and then we got some other VIP options, so we're there for a few hours. So this is look, even at $9.97, that's what I really wanted it to be at. That's why the price is there. But 2026, a new year. It won't be the price that much longer. So I encourage you, get your credit card out, reach out to me. I don't even know if we have a registration page where you can pay for it now. I want you to let me see. DM me with email for registration, right? And we also have a VIP option. We're full of some killer bonuses, right? So I really want to do that because this is important. Right? I just don't want to spend time with people that aren't serious. I just don't want to spend time with people that aren't ready to do some work. You got to do some work, man. And I'll meet you at your level of ambition. I don't believe in pushing a wet noodle. I don't believe in trying to make you change or squeeze or force something down your throat. All I know is if you're asking me for help, I'm going to be there for you. Right? So, and the price is $147. It's just crazy, right? 90 minutes is usually going to be in about 2 hours at least. So anyway, $147. DM me so we can get that payment made and have a conversation. Because if you DM me, I'm going to spend a little time talking to you before we even take your money. So, but if you like, Jeff, I don't need that. Hey, I'm ready, man. Then I get it, because I know some people are ready to do that. But some other folks are like, oh, I don't know. Sounds good, Jeff, but I don't know. Yeah. That person, I love you too. Right. So if that's you, drop it in, hit me up. Let's have a conversation. For those of you that are ready, just when you reach out to me, put Jeff, I'm ready. And we'll make a quick call and we'll get you set up. right? So now's the time to do this thing, man. I mean, we'll get ready to do this in a couple of weeks. I haven't set the date yet because I want to kind of just make sure we get opportunity to get this thing out to as many people as possible because we're not going to limit the seats. But here's the other hit, right? So we also, in addition to for the 147, you get VIP access to the training recordings, lifetime access, right? And it's a $997, 30-minute discovery call valued at $497, right? And that 30-minute discovery call, I usually book an hour. So if you heard what I said, on my calendar, I usually book an hour. So for those of you that are like, hey man, I really need to talk to you about some other things and why we're doing this, I'm not going to guarantee you my calls might be back so I can't do it. I usually book an hour, especially when we're just kicking something off. Right? So we get that. And then a bonus, man, 30-day accountability follow-up plan. What does that mean to you? That means that for the 30 days, I'm going to show up once a week in a group setting, right? Because you're already going to have the call and we'll be able to chat. And really, it's about how things are going, right? If you say we're going to do something in a 30-day, this next thing that's coming up with the follow-up plan, and you don't do it, then we have some accountability. Again, I'm not going to push a wet noodle, but I can encourage you. I can praise and compliment and inspire you to keep moving forward. Man, there's nothing more exciting for me than to see a person go from bent over, curled up in a ball. They finally stop hiding to standing up, shoulders back, head high, moving forward. And I ain't talking about 12 months from now. I'm talking about we're going to do some stuff right now. Speed, healing is your own process. There's some things we can do right away, right? So bonus, 30-day accountability follow-up plan. Let me look back so I can see it. Then another bonus, VIP access to the summit. And this is like, whoa, man, listen, from heartbreak to healing, pathways to extraordinary love, those summits bring anywhere from 18 to 21 experts in the area of pathways to healing heart, and finding out how to get to where you need to be, right? So there's bound to be something in there from each speaker that you're going to be able to take away, and you get the lifetime recordings on those summits, and usually the speaker gives you a gift. So I mean, your value is already going off the charts, man, right? Come on, your value is already going off the charts. My team, I wasn't going to put that on there, but normal price, yeah, there we go. 1997. You guys thought I was messed up. No, that's it. The whole thing's 1997. But that fast action price on the VIP, you're gonna pay 147. So don't get it twisted, right? But it includes all the VIP stuff too. So don't wait till the day of or a couple days before, because it will not be. This piece will not be free. You will pay 147 plus whatever the VIP we decide to charge you at that time. So when you hear this recording, make sure that you are on it, because of the day of the show, a couple of days before that, the price goes up. It's business, and I love you. It's business, right? But I know we can help you if you do the work and you're willing to change, and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So let's see what we got here. I think that's a magnificent comeback. Oh, another 90-minute live workshop. Didn't talk to you about that. Here we go. I'm just kidding. Here we got it. Let's go through this really quickly, right? So the magnificent comeback is a 90-minute live workshop, right? I already gave you the VIP, and then 5 A's, step-by-step coaching with the prompts, right? And we'll talk about what those 5 A's are. On the 30-day comeback map, identity, boundaries, and daily practices, mirror moment worksheet, King group, fast action, VIP, 147. So last shot, for those of you that this is just a reminder of what we talked about, the 5 A's and what those are for you, and how we're going to help you with the 5 A's, and then the mirror moment exercise and all the other things. Man, I will tell you this: register, DM me with email for registration, and also for VIP. So don't delay. This replay is going to be going out pretty soon, right? And it's going to be a limited amount of people, because it's just needs to be an intimate setting, right? So I ask you this: Who's ready to break the loop and start rebuilding your peace? Is it you? You know what to do. DM me with the email for registration and drop your number in. Let's have a call. That's what it needs. For those of you that are ready, just put I'm ready on it, like I said, and we'll get to you right away. And for you that are ready and just come at me right away, probably got a little something extra for you too. Before I leave you though, I got to tell you this. There is a life, there's a warrant, there's a blah, blah, blah. Unconditional money back guarantee of 100%. You get your $147 back. You work with me for 30 days. You go through the process. You do the exercises, and you can literally look me in the eye. That'll be a mirror moment when we're looking at each other. And you can look me in the eye and say, "Oh man, this didn't help me out at all." And I'll be glad to give you money back. But you got to do the homework. You got to show up on the exercises. You need to do the homework, and then why wouldn't you? Right? But I'd be glad to give it to you. You know, I used to money like this. I used to just double the money back to you. But you know what? It's not going to happen. You're going to be, you're going to be affected in a positive way. Whatever you decide to do after that workshop, that's on you. But you will have it will resonate in your head over and over again. The things we're talking about, the alignment, the new identity, the boundaries, right? And then the framework. Oh man. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm going to take this screen off now. And just remind everybody, look, I know how you feel because I felt terrible. I felt heartbroken. And I didn't think that 20 years later, I would have worked on myself in that gap time. Done these things we're talking about, had these mirror moments, worked and felt good about myself to the point where I've been blessed with my wife today. We'll be married 15 years, and she brings to our marriage a daughter, right? They came as a package, man. I got a gifted package. Phenomenal young ladies, and our daughter now has been married, and now they have 3 kids and so grandparents. And man, I'm telling you, getting a chance, the opportunity to relive the experience of influencing children and the minds of children, and you know, just having the amazing time, a partner that we're 2 totally different people. But when I worked on myself, I figured out how to do things differently. I felt like how to, you know, and appreciate the differences in people, right? And so it's just amazing gifts that are waiting for you. So my promise to you is this: challenge me. Come in here, pay the money, challenge me. And at the end of 30 days, let's have a discussion. Right? I want to make you a bet, but I ain't going to do it. But we'll figure out something else. But that's the promise. You come here and do some work, man, you're going to find some relief sooner than later. And I want you to know that I'd be glad to do that with you. So DM me if I'm ready. I'm super ready. Just ready to let me know. We'll get a hold of you. And if you, well, Jeff, I really need to talk to you. You know, put your phone number in there or put it in the communicate an email. I want to make sure that we're a right fit. And let's practice that mirror moment. Go do the mirror moment now. I want you to go look in the mirror, close the door, turn on the light, look in the mirror. Have a piece of paper or something you can take a note on and write down who that person is that's looking back at you. You know who it is, as honestly as you can. And then I'm going to give you something else to think about. The next time you look in the mirror, I want you to tell yourself, I am worthy of love. Just because I made mistakes doesn't make me a bad person. I am worthy of love. Just because I may have, whatever that was for you, I am worthy of love. Just because. And then fill in the blanks. I'm worthy of love. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to set new boundaries, to realign myself, the alignment and my patterns. I'm willing to do those things. Just little steps. You do that for a week. Well, we never talk again. You do that for a week and then let me know how you feel. I mean, really do it. Boldly. Oh man, the mirror moment is powerful, baby. All right. I want to say thank you. We'll see you soon. Register, get this thing together. Been a pleasure. As we always say in Comeback King Enterprises, your time is now. Your comeback is now. Let's rise together. Take care. Thank you.